Baseball is a great game, full of highs and lows. In sport, we find many lessons about life if we are paying attention. In this vast community of youth baseball, we assemble weekly throughout the spring and summer to watch our children play a children's game. What do we really know about the community that surrounds us? Let us introduce you to Mike and Nicole, their 4 children, and the story of their daughter Jordyn. To Mark Gerard, the president of the Missouri Sticks Baseball Club. And let's take a look at the baseball community that's more than just the sport. Would you like to introduce your family?
Yeah, of course. Down on our far right here, we have our 3rd child. What's your name? Reagan.
How old are you?
How old are you? 6. We have our oldest daughter, Natalie. How old are you, Natalie? 7.
Okay.
We have our oldest son, Kevin.
9.
And then my wife, Nicole. And then Jordyn, our youngest.
Hello, Jordyn.
How old are you, Jordyn?
She'll wave with her foot.
Exactly.
And kick you in the face, you're right.
And your wife, Nicole.
Yes, sir. Yep.
Nicole, we're not going to ask your age.
I mean, it is my birthday today. You can
It is your birthday.
It is.
It is. Wow. Well, happy birthday.
Perfect day to come. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, we're here today. We wanted to talk about Jordyn and the story that you'd called us about and talked to us a little bit about. And I'd like to start kind of walking down this path and just what medically caused the issues she has.
Yeah, the story of Jordyn is a long and winding story, and I don't know if we have enough time to go over it today, but we'll give you the abbreviated version. She was a perfectly healthy 3-month-old baby. Everything checked out great her first 3 months of life, and then the family had gotten a stomach bug over Halloween. We kind of passed it through the family, and on, I think it was a Monday morning, I woke up with her and fed her perfectly fine morning. Then I actually got sick, so I went back into bed and stayed home from work, and Nicole went to feed her, and from then on it was kind of downhill. She gotten a disease called myocarditis of the heart, which is the heart got like an infection, got like a virus.
So instead of her getting a stomach bug, it went to her heart instead.
The heart got tired of working so hard and pretty much shut down. So we had rushed her to the hospital just down the street, and they airlifted her to Children's, and that same night they put her on a life-saving machine called an ECMO machine, which acts as her lungs and her heart. She got 2 cannulas and taken into her neck. One was on the top of her heart, one was at the bottom. This machine would pump the blood out, put it in a machine, put oxygen on it, push it back in her body, and push it out. So this machine was acting like as her heart and lungs. So what it was before was to let her heart rest and get over this virus. And she, at that moment, she's completely sedated, completely paralyzed, because if she moves just a tiny bit, those cannulas would come out of her veins, and it would be catastrophic. So in this decision making of putting her on this machine, the doctors had told us there's 3 outcomes. 33% of the kids survive and everything's great and they get over it. 33% of them will survive and have complications down the road, and 33% of them won't make it. So Jordyn was the 33% that made it but had complications. So she recovered from the ECMO and the heart issues, and then just kind of the issues kind of continued, and she had some feeding issues. She was aspirating, when we take a drink of water and we cough and we say it went down the wrong pipe. Well, that's a real thing. and it was going down Jordan's wrong pipe. But usually when we take a drink, it closes and it goes down the right side because Jordan was getting no nutrients. It was going down into her lungs for a few months, so she was almost malnourished.
Every time she would take a
when
drink,
she was taking a bottle,
yeah, like
when
she
we were
would
feeding her a
choke
bottle.
on her
Okay.
bottle like every time she was eating because she was only 3 months at that time, so she was still feeding.
So we
every
ended
couple-
up,
every
so we ended
couple
up getting a button, which is how she eats, to do this directly in her stomach. And we were hoping now that she'd get her nutrients at that point in time, she would, get better, her head control would get better. Unfortunately, that didn't work. And then actually on Reagan's third birthday party, lots of people in the house, and Jordyn had an issue. We had to rush her to the hospital once again.
We were trying to feed her and she wouldn't eat.
So for that stay for 50 plus days, we stayed in the children's hospital. That's what got her to get the tracheostomy and the trach, and that's what we had to do to keep her healthy. And here we are. We've had lots of different issues along the way, and we've dealt with it. But it's a long, windy path. But we're here where we are today.
Medically, we don't have like a diagnosis. It was myocarditis that turned into feeding issues, that turned into respiratory issues, and all the doctors thought it would be short-lived once she started eating and her nutrition increased, and then things just declined. They thought she had apnea and other things and thought they would fix it, and then nothing's really come out of it.
So her condition today is still undiagnosed after the condition of the infection was
Correct.
taken care of.
Completely
Right.
undiagnosed.
Yeah, and her heart has completely recovered.
Yeah, we don't see
Cardiology is just like every couple of years now because her heart's completely recovered. It's just all the side effects of that initial thing that
completely
has
undiagnosed.
happened.
Every test under the sun has been run on her.
Wow.
We've done it's called exome chromosome sequencing, where they take blood from Jordyn, they took blood from Nicole and I, and literally
basically like read it like a
takes
book.
like not yet. They take like 6 months where they go through this whole entire book of diseases and things and check it off, and so completely undiagnosed. But
So with that being said, what you're doing that way is,
Yeah.
what are you guys continuing to do to try and find a diagnosis?
so I mean, we've for a while we worked really hard to try to find something and see what's wrong. I think we've come to the point now where we're just trying to keep her safe. There's a Vanderbilt University has a thing called the Undiagnosed Network.
Yes, I know. Yeah.
So we are in the process of doing that. It's been a long process. It took
We have to get
6 months for her to
accepted
get
and-
accepted, and then we have to go through all this other stuff. So eventually we will hopefully be heading to Vanderbilt for a weekend or so of doctors to take a look at her and see if all these really smart doctors can come up with a disease. And the network is it's like Vanderbilt and Brown and Stanford.
Sure.
So it's all the top of the line hospitals that will try to see if they can come up with some. I mean, I think as parents, we've kind of come to the conclusion that we might never know. It's something that we've kind of accepted. For a while, it was hard
It
for us.
was hard not
I
knowing
was
what
gonna
her
say,
future looks like.
when did that kind of just sink in? Like, why can't my child get better?
I think it's really been recently that's happened. We've kind of had things that people, well, this is it. This is definitely it. And after that's not it. And we've had issues where they've told us she has this type of disease, and she might not make it very long. So, that's hard. But then we had to find out that, well, she doesn't have that. So I think we've come to the conclusion where,
And after like a year of being treated through children's, and it wasn't really trying to find out what the problem is anymore. It was basically just scooch over, Riggs. It was basically just treating Jordyn, not really trying to figure her out anymore. So I think we just grew to know that we may never know what her future looks like, and we'll take every day for what it is and go from there.
So Kevin, you're big brother.
Yes.
Yeah. What do you think of all this? How do you see this with your baby sister here?
Crazy?
Crazy? Yeah. You think about that at times?
Yes.
Yeah. How do you? When do you get a chance to talk to mom and dad about those things at times and help with your sister?
Yeah.
how do you help with sister? How do you help with your sister?
What do you do? What have you done before? Lots of times with me. What do you help change?
Oh, I used to change her trade on Sundays, so
Yep, not many 9-year-olds have changed their sister's trach, and he
No.
showed so much interest, and I was like, why don't you help me? And he says, I don't know if I can, and I was like, why don't you just try? I'm right here. Something happens, I'm going to help you. And he would help every Sunday when we didn't have nurses on those nights. He'd help me change her trach. I would take the old one out because we had to change it every week. So I'd take the old one out, and he'd put the new one in, and he'd hold it there while we cleaned it all up. It was amazing.
Through this whole issue and journey we've been on, all three of them have become very responsible, and
Oh, yeah.
and for a 9-year-old and a 6-year-old to be driving in a car and their sister's having issues where most people would freak out, they are pretty calm and will get mom whatever they need to do and
Help section
help
Jordyn and
suction her and
help take care of her.
and
They're pretty amazing.
and know what to do.
Do they ask a lot of questions about the situation?
They used to in the beginning. Well, she was little. I mean, she was only 3.5 when she first got sick, so I think that's kind of a blur to her. But he was old enough that we would ask questions in the beginning, but I think it's just been their way of life for
Yeah.
so long. Like, it's just
So-
Jordyn. That's what they know.
They've developed that relationship with her in that respect.
Oh,
haven't they?
absolutely.
Yeah, I think the
Absolutely.
relationship is obviously different than some brothers and sisters, but I think it's a loving and caring relationship that most 9-year-olds and 7-year-olds don't have with their siblings. They
Right.
want to wrestle or with each other. With each other, they'll annoy each other, but just of caring for her has been pretty remarkable, and I think it's unfortunately grown all three of them up well beyond their years.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
he is not a normal 9-year-old, and she is definitely not a normal 7-year-old. They're way well above, and it carries over to other things. I think it's helped in
Absolutely.
their just lives in school, and they're all great in school. And Kevin's a straight A student, and Natalie just got an award for being, the character high
Love of her award.
in her class. So I think it's and unfortunately a situation that was a bad situation has turned into making them learn life skills and how to handle things at a young age, and will help
So
as
like
they
I
get
help
older.
them as they get older.
Natalie, what have you helped mom and dad with
What do you do?
with Jordyn?
I don't know.
What do
You don't
help?
know?
Do you help keep an eye on her while we're doing stuff? You help
Yeah.
suction her?
Carry bags.
Yeah, you sit next to her in the car when Kevin's not with
So
us.
if you're carrying all the bags, you're getting big muscles.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that we've done too throughout this whole thing is, as parents, we try not to let this situation affect the other three. So I mean, we
Try and live our life.
Yeah, that leads to the next
yeah.
part of this with the family.
Mm.
You haven't let it deter you from your everyday life, job,
Yep.
school.
Right.
I mean, this is a 24/7 deal,
It's a
right?
lot.
Yeah, it's and luckily Nicole has been amazing through this whole thing because I work and somebody has to help pay these bills that we have, and she's done an amazing job caring for Jordyn these 3 years and the other 2 kids, and we try our best not to let all of you. I mean, you can see that all this comes with us everywhere we go.
Plus more.
And plus more. So it's a situation where she'll come to baseball games. She'll come to gymnastics. I mean, she's a high level gymnast already. So
We only qualify for 14 hours of nurses a day, and we choose to have them come at night so we can actually sleep. So it's
Sure.
me and Michael when he's not, or when he isn't working, and the kids with Jordyn by ourselves. And we just, when the kids have sports and Michael's not here and we don't have a nurse, she comes with us and we all go and
Yeah,
do what we
yeah.
gotta do.
It was very nice because watching when we were out at the ballpark with you guys,
yeah.
watching all the folks from the team,
Oh yeah.
from the Sticks come help. They were all right there, very
Truly.
interested. And you know what? You can sometimes see, but it was very genuine.
Oh, I'm
100%. And
completely.
we've run into so many people in our lives over the last few years with this that it's you see so much stuff on the news and you get depressed at how the world is, but the stuff that we've been through and the people and it doesn't even go just our baseball family. Our son plays football, and our football, we've known him for a year. They did a Jody Strong game, and they're helpful, and you were right, the people on the baseball team try as best as they can to do as much as they can.
They welcomed us with open arms,
Yeah,
and
it's
we could not have asked for anything better.
People are there's still a lot of good people in the world, and,
Yeah.
and unfortunately, we've come across a lot of them. So.
That's awesome. So you're all wearing your Jordyn Strong T-shirts.
Yep.
So tell us a little bit about how that came about with the Missouri Sticks, correct?
Yes. So the Jordyn Strongs were literally started. I was sitting in the intensive care unit with her one night, and the thing with social media is you're able to stay connected with family members and friends across the world. So I was just writing a quick update on Jordyn, and some reason at the end of it, I just put hashtag Jordyn Strong, and it kind of stuck. And then really a lot of the initial shirts goes to my mom, who was we kind of started a small t-shirt business, and my mom had kind of taken grab of this hashtag Jordyn Strong, and the first time I bet we sold over 150 shirts in just a few days to friends and family members, and it's really taken off. I mean, there's not a day goes by where Nicole's not wearing a Jordyn Strong shirt. And
kids love seeing other people with Jordyn Strong.
It's been kind of a cool thing, and people will show us pictures, and like a friends from the baseball team were in Idaho, and they sent us a picture. We're Jordyn Strong in Idaho.
Oh, wow.
One of my aunts was in Hawaii and said we took a picture. We're
Jordyn Strong's been in a lot of places. We love seeing those pictures.
With the team, I mean, a quick background is, Kevin.
Yeah, how did you guys start with the Missouri Sticks to begin with?
So Kevin was avid sports and avid baseball player, and he'd been playing up in his age group, up 2 years in his age group, and I wanted to get him back to more of his friends' ages and things like that, and thank God, just randomly, somebody told us about the Sticks tryout, so we took Kevin there, and later that night I got an email. Kevin, without hearing, is a pretty good baseball player, and
we don't want him to get big.
No, we're not.
And was asked to build a team right away, and Mark Gerard, who's the head coach, and
Hey everybody, I'm out here at the Chesterfield Athletic Complex with Mark Gerard of the Missouri Sticks. And Mark, what is your position in the organization?
Yes, so I am currently the 9U coach and president of the Missouri Sticks organization.
All right. So when did you get involved with the Missouri Sticks?
So it's been about 4.5 years now. Started with the core of these boys when they were teeny tiny, 4 and 5 years old, and here we are now, 4.5 years later, still doing it.
Excellent. Yeah. So, since you've become president, you've set a motto for the organization. Yeah. What is that?
So it's pretty simple. We sign everything off that we do with hashtag Sticks Family and hashtag bigger than baseball, bigger than softball, and that Sticks Family. For the boys, every time before a game we get in a little huddle and we talk about what that means.
Yeah.
It means we have each other's back, literally in the game and figuratively. They call themselves their baseball brothers. So that's the one lesson. Bigger than baseball is just that. This sport is, I say it a lot, this sport is the most like real life. Where you can prepare all you want, and sometimes, darn it, it's just not fair.
That's the truth, isn't it?
It's the truth of baseball, and it's why I love it, and it's what we're trying to instill in them, that what's important is what you do after.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Are you going to crawl back into the dugout, or are you going to go put your head back up and go after it? And that's what life's like, too. What are you going to do if something bad happens? So that's the core of what we believe in.
So we're talking today because of these life lessons. Okay. And you folks had a family come into your organization recently that is dealing with some very extreme circumstances. Can you kind of describe to me or what happened, how the process of you meeting the Morgan family came into being?
It was very lucky, actually. It's Mike, I know you talked to him earlier, might have told you they came to a tryout that they weren't even planning to come to. They were not on my sheet of people that had pre-signed up. On a whim in the afternoon, they came. Kevin is his son, who plays on our team, a phenomenal player and even more importantly, a great kid. And they joined our squad. And, everything happens for a reason, sometimes just by chance. And fortunate for us that happened for more than one reason.
So we play the fall season, and Jordyn's kind of hard to miss. People would ask questions, and we talk about it. And I think it was one of the moms on the team saw our shirts and said, how do I get one of these Jordyn Strong shirts? And Mark kind of grab hold of that, and we played a tournament in the fall. And
only after being with the team, what, a couple of
yeah,
months?
a couple months maybe.
Maybe
So
a couple months.
Mark saw the T-shirt, and that's
Yeah.
what brought him to
Yeah.
ask.
So he asked, hey, how do we get some of these shirts? And what if we, take a tournament and we just called the Jordyn Strong tournament? And of course we were like, yeah, that would be great, and it would be
So
awesome.
this was just this last fall?
Two falls ago.
Two
falls ago.
Okay.
ago.
So we just did our Jordyn Strong tournament last weekend, so we've had 3. So, but that first one, it flew, and parents and kids and even like grandparents from players from our team were buying the shirts, and
That's awesome.
we were fortunate to win that first tournament, the Jordyn Strong tournament, and it's kind of grown from there, and we've done it every year. We've
Sometimes spring, sometimes fall.
We've done it 3 straight years now, and Mark does a good job of making sure the boys know what they're playing for, and they'll have before the games they always do a little huddle, and when they break it down, they always break it down with 1, 2, 3 Jordyn Strong. And
You got to do that for me.
yeah.
All by yourself. No, I'm kidding. So we're talking today because of these life lessons.
Okay.
And you folks had a family come into your organization recently that is dealing with some very extreme circumstances. Can you kind of describe to me or what happened, how the process of you meeting the Morgan
Sure.
family came
Yeah.
into being?
It was very lucky, actually. It's Mike, I know you talked to him earlier, might have told you they came to a tryout that they weren't even planning to come to. They were not on my sheet of people that had pre-signed up. On a whim in the afternoon, they came. Kevin is his son, who plays on our team, a phenomenal player, and even more importantly, a great kid. And they joined our squad, and everything happens for a reason. Sometimes just by chance, and fortunate for us that happened for more than one reason. Yeah.
So through the Morgan family, they have their daughter Jordyn, who
Right.
has the issues. So
Right.
you guys started something when they came on, and they started in the fall of
Yeah.
what, 2 years ago? Is that correct?
So it's been 2.5 years, right? Fall. So yep.
So tell us about how you guys, as an organization, specifically your team, kind of support the Morgan family with the Jordyn Strong hashtag.
Yeah. So every year we do one tournament that is called the hashtag Jordyn Strong tournament, and we have shirts made, and the proceeds for that go to the Morgans for whatever they might need, whether it's gas money, medical bills, a nurse, whatever it is. It's not much, but it's a lesson for us as parents, and it's a lesson for the boys in life of how blessed we are and how we should share those blessings with those that need it. And they're such a special family, and I'm again, it's very little, but it's something, and I hope it helps.
So they, the boys, and it's a really cool thing too, because the boys on the team, which have mostly been the same, there's only been a couple of since we started. The boys know and they care for Jordyn, and they want to win for Jordyn, and it's not something you're like, oh, they probably want to win for. No, they'll say you'll be in the dugout and like, let's do this for Jordyn, and it's
So it's become very important to them as well.
100%.
These
The
little
yep,
guys.
9-year-olds.
I mean, 9. That's
100%. They
2 of them, there's twins on the team, and they go to school, and their mom is actually their teacher, but they did a lemonade stand, and they voted in their class of who to donate the proceeds to, and they were pushing for Jordyn, and they got their team to do it for Jordyn, so they had a lemonade stand for Jordyn, and you could see the excitement on their face, and everybody in the class, but especially the twins that are on the team, like you could see the excitement in their face to do it for Jordyn and just to love doing it.
Now, how important do you think that is for these young boys who are growing up playing baseball to understand that that feeling of community?
Yeah, I think that Mark has done a good job with that, and letting the boys know that the moniker that we have on our team is bigger than baseball. And I think the boys understand that for sure, and they understand that. Yeah, we're playing a game, but
There's a lot
more to life than just baseball. And they really do grasp it. I know it's hard to believe that 9-year-olds can do that.
But I think that's important,
Mm-hmm.
and how much of the baseball community can learn from this.
For sure. Yeah, and I think it's something that, unfortunately we had to go through something terrible in our life, and I think we've tried our best to turn it into something positive.
Absolutely.
And try to show people that no matter what obstacles you have, or if you can't do something, just take a look at us, and we kind of, like I said, we don't let things get in our way, and we'll do the best we can.
It's not always easy,
and
but
I think
we make
even
it work.
I think even his in his baseball career, if he strikes out once or twice, that's it's a bummer, but
It's not the end of the
it's
world.
not the end of the world for sure.
You posed a question, and it was about how can we relate to this family and circumstances they're in. And that's pretty tough, isn't it?
Yeah, even as a parent, I have 3 of my own. They have 4. That alone blows my mind. But having 3 of our own that are 10 and younger, that are all very active and do a lot. I mean, every week it's a struggle for my wife and I to get them everywhere, and sometimes one of them gets the short end of the stick because honestly, calling myself out, we're tired. Life,
Right.
work, baseball, whatever it is, sometimes that happens, and so I just can't even wrap my head around how they do it. So the Morgans have 4, and Jordyn with special needs. Kevin plays competitive baseball, football, and basketball, and Natalie in gymnastics, and Reagan, and and they don't miss a beat. They get everywhere. Kevin's never missed a game. Kevin's never missed a practice. He's always on time. Mike is vice president of the Sticks organization and is so helpful to me. Helps out with this team. So I feel like half the man compared to what they pull off, and it's truly a lesson to us as parents as well.
Having interviewed the Morgan family and talked to them, and what you've seen, they just the family, the attitude. It's amazing what you can learn from that, isn't it?
Yeah.
And how do you take that attitude and present that to the boys?
Yeah. So sort of going back to what I talked about, that bigger than baseball. There's a lot of bigger things out there. Yes, we're here to learn the game.
Right.
Yes, we're here to try to be fundamentally smart and strong, but there's other things out there. And especially in that Jordy Strong tournament, every time in our huddle we talk about that, because it's a very real thing and an example we can point to in our baseball family where we can say, and I tell them this, boys, we're very blessed to be here on this field today, running around playing this game. It's something that Jordy up to this date can't do.
Right.
So we're blessed to do it, and we do some rah-rah, let's do it for her, and inevitably, even though they're 9, it seems to resonate for that moment.
So has that really impacted these boys? Has Jordyn made that much of an impact in these young boys?
Yeah, I believe so. I mean, because we've constantly are sort of embedding it in their brain that we are a family.
Yeah.
Of course, we have to understand we're not immediate, true family,
Well,
but we are a baseball family, and so Jordyn is an extension of that baseball family. So you'll see we have pictures, everybody rallies around her, get pictures with her, and Jordy is very popular on our team. And I love it, because that's the community we want to create.
Well, you've said to me on a couple different occasions, and we did a little interview at the ballpark, and you've said we don't put ourselves out there for pity.
Right.
We only want to express our thanks and how grateful we are to the families around us.
Yeah, 100%.
And with that, how does this all, what does it all mean to you as a person, your family, your kids?
I don't think there's words to describe what the team has done for us,
And the friendships
the
we've
friendships
grown.
that we've gotten through just baseball. It's unbelievable, and I think the generosity of the families and
The willingness to help do whatever we need.
the
help
caring
with.
for our daughter that are always asking,
And the siblings too. It's not just the baseball siblings. We have a lot of siblings on the team, and a lot of sisters and a couple brothers, and they all care for Jordyn. They all ask how she is if she's not there. How many? 3 brothers. Right. And the rest are sisters. It is very girl dominant. Girl dominant. But I mean, they all ask. Like the older ones will sit and play with her or sit with her if I need to walk away for a second or whatever, and it's amazing.
Yeah, like I said, it's a really humbling group of people to be with, because they're always asking if we need help, or and like I said, we don't put ourselves out there for people to feel sorry for us. We like to tell the story because it's a story that, like you said, you can learn from, and people like to hear the story because it's a very interesting story. It really is, but the people that we've come across to become, and it's cliche to say, but they really are family to us.
Absolutely.
So, firsthand experience for these young men, how do you think that helps them grow, not only as players, but will help them understand what it is to be part of a community as they get older?
Yeah, it's to not take, the message is to not take anything for granted. Jordy's specific instance, that she was not born with this,
right.
With this issue. It's something that happened later down the road. That's hard. So you never know what life's going to give you. So you need to make the most of it while you can. And that's what I want these boys to realize, that this game can teach you so many life lessons.
Yes, it can.
And it's endless.
So now you as an organization, this brings to bear something that you create within the whole as a matter of service, correct?
Right. So in my role as president, I take another step back and realize that what we've got going on here is pretty good. And I want to extend it to all our clubs. So for all our teams in the Sticks organization, they're required to do one service project a calendar year. Whether that's go, feed the homeless, go work at a shelter. Our softball team, our first ever girls softball team, they did Easter baskets for those that wouldn't otherwise have gotten any.
Wow.
So they already completed their project, and it's just something I need and want them to check off the list. Again, getting back to that bigger than baseball, bigger than softball idea, to understand that we're very blessed out here.
And with sports being what it is, everybody knows it. We all see the glitz, the glamour, the big time, but there's a lot of focus on these professional athletes.
Right.
And we hear a lot of negative, don't we?
Correct.
But hopefully, out of this service, what are we trying to extend here with these boys growing up that one of them may get to that professional level? How do you hope that impacts them?
Yeah, it's two things. The reality of it is that right now, especially, they're 9.
Right.
And the reality is there's a very small number that make it. But for those that do make it, and you can have an impact at any age. You can have an impact now. You can have an impact in high school, college. And as far as you make it, if one makes it, maybe one of them, it'll stick with them to give back. To be humble about that. I've never experienced that level of success in the sport, so I can't speak directly to it. But the hope is that if one of them does, that they remember these roots and they take it with them, and remember to give back for everything that they'll get.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Mark?
Yep.
Thanks
you
very
a lot.
much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Mark Gerard, President, Missouri Sticks.
And they are just as important to us as our immediate family, to be honest with you, and it's been a humbling experience.
Mike, Nicole, Kevin, Reagan, Natalie, Jordan, guys, I want to thank you for taking the time out of your day to tell your story. We're appreciative of it, and I've learned some stuff watching this. I can't imagine, and I don't. It's extraordinary watching a family such as yours and your attitude and who you are. It really is an amazing story, and I appreciate you joining us and telling us about everything. So.
Yeah, we'd also like to thank you guys as a family, because it's not easy to carry all this stuff around and drive around, but to help tell the story, and the more people can hear about Jordyn and our story is something that's we really appreciate you guys are doing too, and not even just for youth baseball, because we've become a youth baseball family, and we're at the park every weekend, and youth baseball is a big deal in our family, and I think it's a big deal, and you guys have done an awesome job. You guys in Game 7, I've come to know Dave Penning and Dave Schmidt, and they are doing something that's spectacular. I always tell Ken all the time, when I was 9, I played like 13 games a summer, I didn't have my first button-up jersey until I was a junior in high school. You guys just letting people know about youth sports is great, and we really appreciate it too.
We thank you. That's our goal. We just want to talk about people, and I think the community at large. Baseball is a sport. It's fun. It's enjoyable, but it truly comes down to community and people and how we treat one another.
Yep.
So we're appreciative of what you thought. So guys, have a great day. Enjoy. Happy birthday
Thank
again
you
to
so
you.
much.
And hey, hashtag Jordyn Strong.
Absolutely.
Right? You guys say that real loud for me. You guys do that for me?
Yep.
Look at the camera. Give me on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Hashtag Jordyn Strong.
Thanks, guys.